Welcome back, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. Listen, if you're a non-technical professional trying to navigate the incredibly crowded, just constantly changing landscape of artificial intelligence, you have found exactly what you're looking for. Consider this explainer your ultimate playbook. We're going to take all the noise, all the hype, and distill it down into a clear, actionable guide based entirely on an incredible matrix of data. We're going to break down exactly which AI model you should be using for exactly which task.
But first, I have a serious question for you to consider. Are you using the wrong AI for your daily tasks? I want to do a little myth-busting right out of the gate. We all have this habit, and I know many of you are guilty of this, of just defaulting to standard ChatGPT for absolutely everything. Need an email? ChatGPT. Need data analyzed? ChatGPT. But here's the hard truth. Treating AI like a Swiss Army knife, it leads to mediocre results. I mean, a Swiss Army knife is okay at a lot of things, but it's not the absolute best tool for any one specific job. If you want top-tier professional results, we need to break that habit right now.
Okay, so here is our roadmap to systematically conquer your workday. First up, the AI one-tool trap. Second, writing and communication needs. Third, heavy research and analysis. Fourth, daily productivity and workflow. Fifth, tackling complex reasoning tasks. And finally, number 6, the ultimate AI strategy.
Let's dive right into Section 1, the AI one-tool trap, and breaking that Swiss Army knife myth.
So the crucial point we really need to establish right away is this foundational rule. No single model is best for everything. You have to match the model to the task. Picking the exact right tool for the specific moment is the key to true efficiency. You wouldn't use a hammer to drive a screw, right? Well, the exact same logic applies to generative AI. If you want the absolute best outcome, you've got to be intentional about your tool selection.
Moving on to Section 2, writing and communication needs. We're covering everything from everyday emails all the way to long-form content.
Picture this. It's 3 p.m., you're staring at a blank screen, and you desperately need to draft a sensitive client follow-up email. Which tool do you actually open? Well, looking at this performance grid of the Big Four, notice the absolute dominance of Claude Sonnet 4.6 across everyday writing tasks. For drafting emails, reports, and social posts, it secures that coveted best tier across the board. Meanwhile, standard ChatGPT with GPT 5.5 is sitting solidly in the yellow good tier for those exact same tasks. Gemini 3.5 Flash holds its own up there in the top tier for many of these, but honestly, Claude's consistency here is just remarkable.
But there's a really fascinating trade-off happening here. Check out this comparison. Claude Sonnet 4.6 gives you the absolute best raw generation quality for drafting. However, Copilot has a major advantage that literally cannot be ignored. It lives right inside your Outlook workflow. While Claude might write a slightly better sentence, Copilot is operating natively in your inbox, which makes the physical process of drafting and sending incredibly seamless. You have to weigh that raw quality against a frictionless workflow.
Now, what happens when the writing scales up? When you move from a short email to long-form content like articles or major proposals, you need to deliberately switch over to the heavy hitters. For this, Claude Opus 4.8 takes the best spot. Standard ChatGPT, GPT 5.5, and Gemini 3.1 Pro fall into the good category, and interestingly, Copilot in Word actually drops down to just okay. To maintain top-tier results for your major documents, Opus 4.8 is your absolute go-to.
All right, on to Section 3, heavy research and analysis. This is all about market scans and data crunching.
This is the heavy lifting of the workday, where accuracy is simply non-negotiable. Notice how the landscape of which tool is best completely shifts the moment we move away from standard writing. The tools that dominated simple email drafting aren't necessarily the ones you want reading a 50-page legal contract or crunching thousands of rows of data.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how these tools specialize. When it comes to analyzing dense documents like contracts or huge PDFs, Claude Opus 4.8 asserts total dominance. It is the best in class for reading and synthesizing those uploaded files. But if you need desk research, like broad market scans and compiling summaries from across the web, you actually want to utilize the specialized, deeper research functions found in ChatGPT and Gemini. They are specifically tuned to scour and compile vast amounts of information out in the wild.
So what about the numbers? For data analysis and spreadsheets, we see a totally different lineup. Here, Copilot in Excel and Gemini 3.5 Flash step up to tie Claude Sonnet 4.6 for the absolute best performance. They take the top spots. Meanwhile, ChatGPT's GPT 5.5 Ada sits slightly lower at the good tier. Basically, if you live in spreadsheets, Copilot and Gemini are demanding your attention.
Let's shift gears to Section 4, Daily Productivity and Workflow, going from brainstorming all the way to presentations.
These are those rapid-fire daily tasks that keep the workday moving. We have to move swiftly here because productivity is all about speed and integration. For brainstorming, meeting prep, and presentations, the ecosystem surrounding the AI matters just as much as the model itself. It's really about where the tool is physically located while you work.
Because of that ecosystem factor for things like meeting prep and slide decks, Gemini and Copilot just pull way ahead. Why? Because they operate directly inside the apps you are already using. Gemini is right there in your calendar and slides. Copilot is natively embedded in Teams and PowerPoint. Standalone models like Claude and ChatGPT require you to constantly copy and paste back and forth, which totally breaks your workflow. For pure productivity, native integration is a massive advantage.
But check out this truly surprising finding from the source data regarding quick Q&A, those fast, simple questions you need answered instantly. Gemini 3.5 Flash actually takes the top best spot here. It completely outperforms Claude Haiku 4.5 and Copilot's GPT 5.5 Instant, both of which are ranked down in the lower, red OK tier for this specific rapid-fire task.
Section 5. Tackling complex reasoning tasks. We are diving into strategic decisions and logic.
Let's slow things down for a second, because we are entering the most demanding, sophisticated category of AI work. Before we pick a tool, look closely at how we define this. Complex reasoning isn't just writing a quick summary. It represents high-level tasks involving strategic decisions, weighing trade-offs, building scenarios, and running complex math and logic. The stakes here are high, and the processing power required is immense.
When you're dealing with deep strategy and logic, your standard, everyday models simply will not cut it. The baseline versions of these AIs are going to stumble, for sure. You absolutely need specialized heavyweights that are built specifically for these deep cognitive tasks.
Looking at our high-end reasoning roster, Claude's Fable 5 completely stands out as the absolute best, in green for both strategic decisions and math. It's the premier choice. Notice the other tools listed here: ChatGPT GPT 5.5 Pro, Gemini 3.1 Pro, and Copilot's GPT 5.5 Thinking. The crucial takeaway is that you must ensure you are actively selecting these specific Pro or Thinking versions within those platforms to even compete in this arena. The standard models simply aren't engineered for this level of logic.
Finally, Section 6. The ultimate AI strategy. Putting it all together.
It is time to bring all of these distinct sections together into one master plan. Here is the complete source matrix by Mamatha Shea. Earlier, this might have just looked like a wall of logos and colored dots, but now you can confidently read and apply this entire battlefield of data. You can clearly see where the green best dots cluster for writing with Claude, where the integrations shine for Copilot and Gemini and productivity, and where the heavy-duty models sit at the bottom for reasoning.
So let's see how this actually builds a real-world workflow. A true professional doesn't just stick to one app. They chain these best tools together for a single massive project. Step 1, conduct your initial market scan using deep research in ChatGPT or Gemini. Step 2, draft your massive proposal using Claude Opus 4.8 for the best possible text generation. And Step 3, build out the actual slide deck using Copilot natively inside PowerPoint. You've just seamlessly used 3 different platforms to execute one flawless project.
Which brings us full circle right back to our golden rule from this explainer. No single model is best for everything. Match the model to the task for the best results. You have the roadmap now. You know exactly which tool dominates which category. So my final question to you is this. Looking at your own calendar right now, which exact task are you going to optimize first today?